I wasn't a regular yoga practitioner. I couldn't necessarily touch my toes every time I bent over. So I wasn't sure what I was getting myself into. And when I showed up for my first training with Mothership, it was the sweetest little family. There were 6 of us studying, and I was allowed to be myself. And I was immediately put at ease because it didn't matter where I was in life. I was able to be myself and take my studies where I needed to for me without any judgment.
I really feel strongly that this is your yoga. You came because you had a yoga practice and you want to know more about your personal yoga practice, and by learning the lineage and practicing more in depth, you get closer to what your personal practice is.
I never thought that I would actually be able to speak in front of a crowd, and I can't believe that I do it on a weekly basis now.
We have our students find their voice because not all of us are performers. And so often that's the most difficult part, is to show up for yourself and be able to do anything in front of other people.
What led me to pursue yoga teacher training was definitely my own personal practice. Yoga has been with me through all stages of life, and it's a very forgiving one. And every time I get back onto the mat, I fall in love with myself all over again. And I really wanted to be able to share that with other people.
For me, the teacher training was not so much a way to train to actually become a yoga teacher, but I wanted to deepen my knowledge of the practice and learn some anatomy. I also wanted to know more about the history of yoga. It was a way to have a better handle on the technical part of the practice.
Hatha is basically that broad term for all the yoga active poses. And so whilst we use that as the base, we'll give our students the experience of learning vinyasa flow, and we sprinkle in a little bit of yin. Our idea is that we don't know where you're going to find your own little niche in the afterlife of 200 hour. So we give you the opportunity to learn and experience in that through the programs.
Each weekend is set up so that there's an immersion in all of the topics. So it's not just philosophy. It's not just theory, it's not just practice. So everything is spread out over the course of a weekend.
I think just being able to know ahead of time, like so far in advance, knowing all of the days, the weekends that we'd be in training, you plunk those in your schedule, and that's like sacred time and you don't mess with it. This is a priority, this is important to me. These people are amazing and beautiful, and I want to see them and spend the weekend, so it wasn't hard or work to find that time.
That kind of self-exploration and journey, I think that's something that both Ship and Val really promote, which isn't necessarily something that I felt from some of the other schools that I looked into.
One person may not have the flexibility to touch their toes, so then how are you going to assist them with modifications in how they stand, what props they use, etc., and to teach in that way that they can offer those modifications.
It was life-changing. There are things that you can take with you every day. There are connections that you make that, you may not see those people all the time anymore every day, but they're still part of your tribe. And it's just a different perspective, I think, on kind of how to go about this life that we call busy and crazy and full of to-do lists. And yeah, it really was life-changing.